I have some amazing women running through the Activated Alchemist right now who are moving into the archetypal work. So I wanted to speak to this. So within us as women, there are so many different feminine archetypes. And there are some teachings that say that as a woman, we only embody like one or two of these. But everything that I have studied and everything that I have learned and experienced and felt has told me that every single one of these archetypes lives within me, within you. But the thing is, we haven't taken the time to understand them, to discover them, to actually utilize them for the strengths that they offer, and we let them just come through in the shadow. We live our lives disconnected from these aspects within ourselves, and so they come through in the form of the shadow. All of us have experienced an archetype, most likely many archetypes, possibly even all of those archetypes in their shadow form. But today I want to touch on one specifically that's been coming up with the people I'm working with. It's the healer. There are a lot of powerful goddesses emerging as a healer today. But unfortunately, that healer is often coming through as shadow. The shadow side of the healer can be difficult to recognize because many of her qualities are actually celebrated by our current society. But a common shadow of the healer is feeling responsible for solving everybody's pain and struggles, even when your advice or your presence has not been called on. So let that land for a second, and how common that is. I believe that this is one of, if not the most common, shadow archetype that is surfacing in our world today. Because as more beings, and especially women, are waking up, they understand the aspects of themselves that are the healer. However, they haven't really learned how to integrate her into their being, to actually radiate as this from the heart space. And I know it. I've done this. I fall into the shadows sometimes as well. So the healer, she's also at risk of overgiving and neglecting herself, which can lead to that feeling of being depleted and drained of your natural resources. She may also have what's called kind of like a gifted complex, where this energy can carry this belief that nobody can heal unless her special knowledge and skill set is used, which is the ego. Because the reality is that within each of us, we are a healer, and that when we work with the healer, we are not being healed by a healer. We are simply evoking the healer within ourselves, or they're evoking the healer within us through the ability to actually hold that space as the energy of the healer. But it takes two. But ultimately, each one of us is doing that healing for ourselves. Women, we are healers. We are powerful beings, and we have an innate ability to do this. But we have to be brave enough to look at where it is coming from, because in her shadow, the healer often is focused on self-gratification as the driving force for offering help, rather than actually focusing on the person's healing. So, some tips on how to really embody the healer, that archetype within us. So the first one is to create space within yourself. Be with yourself. Allow yourself to simply be, to feel, to experience, to move. Another one of the most important ones, is to practice the art of active listening. You're not listening to speak. You're not listening to serve. You're not listening to heal. You're holding space. You are actively listening to whatever is being shared with you. You're not waiting for your turn to speak. You are holding space. This is the power of the healer when she is truly embodied. Another piece that really allows us to embody the healer without the shadow is when we focus on helping and supporting from the sidelines instead of taking control of someone's journey. You may know the answer, but it's not always your answer to give. Support, guide, lead, hold space, side by side. Don't take control of someone else's journey. Support them. And pay attention to your true intentions when you're offering help